And I'll tell you, it's a moment I will never forget as long as I live. We brought a neighbor in who's a Spanish-speaking lady to talk to him about it, talk him through it. He's on the sofa right there, and I'm right here, and she's talking in Spanish, and I got nothing. And I'm just listening, but I know what's happening. And he looks at me, and about 2 minutes into it, he looks at me, and he goes, "Zzz." And I was like, whoa, yeah. I think he gets it. And then the amazing thing happened. He simply looked at me and smiled. And he was almost with a smile of, bring it. I've seen worse. I've had worse. This is nothing. If that's all you got, bring it. An amazing moment. So we take him to Shriners. Shriners do what they do best. In, out, operated. He's there with a cast on his leg. I walk in about 5 hours after surgery. He's laughing. He's smiling. He can see his leg right there. No problem. He just wants my iPhone so he can play games and cut up and do his thing. Day and a half later, he's out of the Shriners Hospital. It's a record. But you got to imagine this kid's got to be tough by now, right? Day and a half, he's home. They said, listen, don't do anything with him for 6 weeks. Now, we laughed knowing that wasn't going to happen, but we'd give it our best shot. 2 days later, he's crawling on the floor, coming around, just getting around. 5 days later, he's hopping on 1 foot like a pogo stick. The kid, to this day, has never lost his balance and never fallen down. He just hops around. A couple days after that, I go outside. He's got his leg on the picnic table bench, and he's holding himself up, he's throwing baseballs up and cracking them out. So then he gets on one leg and he's playing tennis. And then he discovers my son's golf clubs. We take him out in the backfield where I live, tee up some balls, see what he's got. He's never seen a golf club in his life. And you got to imagine, he's standing there on one leg, doing his thing, and he's knocking them 50, 75 yards down the field. I took him to the Walker course today. You should have seen that. That was quite to the driving range of the Walker course. That was quite a thing to see. But his attitude was infectious. His smile was contagious. And things happen when you have positive attitudes. The tennis coach for Clemson University here hears about him, invites him to practice. So he goes to practice. And he's on one leg, working out with the tennis team, playing tennis. He's doing calisthenics, doing push-ups. And one of the guys walked up to my wife and said, last year I broke my arm. And I really thought, poor, pitiful me. He goes, I look at Ramon and I'm like, I had it all wrong. It's all about attitude. Ask yourself, where would your attitude be if you were in that situation? Now let's look at the flip side. Last weekend, my wife takes Ramon down to this golf charity fundraiser thing in Atlanta for kids like Ramon that have had these kind of ailments to raise money. They want him because he hears he can hit a golf ball. He's down there. She's watching a video, and she sees this girl in the video about Ramon's age. And she's got a prosthetic leg. It's all good. It's the final product of where Ramon's headed. And she says, man, if I can meet that girl, I'll introduce her to Ramon, and he'll see where he's headed. So sure enough, Ramon's out on the driving range, crowd of people around him, okay, putting on his show, okay, which is standard for Ramon. She sees the little girl, runs up to her and says, hey, you got to meet my little buddy, Ramon. You got to show him what you got here. This would be great. She says, well, my leg hurts. It hurts. It rubs wrong. I don't like it. I wish I didn't have my leg. I wish I could just take it off and be on crutches and be on one leg because I hate my leg. And my wife was like, whoa. I don't need you meeting Ramon. No, thank you. Because you know what? People with negative attitudes push people away. People like Ramon, it's like a magnet to metal. Just brings them in. This girl's going to watch the world pass her by and sit there and wonder while Ramon's taking it all in, getting every break in the book, even though he's had a lousy life. One last story to illustrate the point. There's a CEO of a major corporation right here in South Carolina that was on seat 1A of the airplane that crashed into the Hudson River. Now, for those of you that don't know, seat 1A is the seat at least myself walks by wishing I was sitting in it in first class when I'm going to coach. That seat sits catty corner to the flight attendant. This guy tells the story of being on that plane. As you all know, they take off, captain comes on, and he says, folks, we've hit a few birds, we need to return to the airport. He looks at the flight attendant. Flight attendant's like, it happens. You know, we'll be behind. It's not going to be good, but it happens. No problems. 2 minutes later, as you all know, captain comes back on. And he says, brace for impact, brace for impact. He looks at the flight attendant, just like that, instant terror on her face. And he just figured out what she already knew. He looks out the window, he does some math, and he realizes, I got a heavy plane, it's full of jet fuel, and we're over New York City. We're going to put a big dent in something. He looks back out the window, probably does a little physics and math, and he realizes he's got 40 seconds to live. 40 seconds. And he knew it. And he said, what went through my mind, it wasn't dying. It was all the choices I made that were so poor and the attitude I had toward things that were so petty. Things that didn't matter, I let eat me up and cause me grief. Now, we all know plane landed, it was a miracle. Everyone lives. And he says to this day, his life is like living in a video game in the bonus round. Every day he looks at life a different way. He says, the little stuff doesn't bother me anymore. It's not a problem. I'm looking at a much bigger picture, and it's much bigger than me. So my question to you is, where would you have been on that plane? If you had 40 seconds to live, what's going on in your life right now that's not worth dealing with? It's too petty. What is it? Think about it. 40 seconds to live. Boom! You're dead. Or you're not. It's your choice. Like the girl in Atlanta pushing everyone away, the right attitude and the right decisions bring them closer. Because in my mind, attitude makes you what you are. Attitude determines what your family is. Attitude determines what your community is. And most important of all, your attitude determines what America is. With that, let's come back to Ramon for just a minute. Ramon's the best example of that I've ever seen in my life. His mom's dead, thatched hut, no electricity, no leg now. It just keeps rolling on. Yet his attitude is bigger than this room. Some of you in here have met him, and you can attest to what I'm talking about. His attitude is amazing. But the only way I can show you the right attitude is to show you, come on, to show you Ramon. Okay. This is as real as it gets right here. Thank you. He deserves it. Thank you for your time. Now it's time for our main event. When it comes to attitude adjustments in America, I don't think there's anybody better than our main event speaker, Mr. Glenn Beck. He has had 6 best-selling books. I can appreciate that because I'm just trying to finish one up and publish it right now. 6 best-selling books, the fastest growing news channel program on television. And I think there's a reason. I think it's reasons like Ramon and reasons like all of you, because it's attitude that's going to bring America to where it needs to go today. It's my privilege and my honor to introduce tonight's speaker, Mr. Glenn Beck.